And that brings us to session number 68. So it has been quite a while with some of these characters. So 68 would put it to 3 years of gameplay.
Wow.
Because it's about 22 sessions a year.
Only
On
been
average.
a druid for like 2 games, haven't I?
About that.
Session 68.
Yeah, session
You should
68.
be writing that down.
It does take a while to get into new characters, but sometimes it feels like you've always been playing that character.
Calcrix fit very natural, but probably because I was Calcrix.
I know you'll miss Calcrix, and Calcrix may come back.
Kill Miss Calcrix. Got a lot of backstory for her though. So that was been 67.
So I'll have Sue introduce herself and her character.
Okay, I'm playing Kamdu. She's a barbarian princess. She's niece to the Khan. She's 6 foot tall because on her mother's side she has Viking ancestries. So, but she's raised up on horses. She's 6 foot tall. She's very strong, and she's also very strong-willed.
Which is not a bad thing.
So, but so she likes to just get in and do things.
My turn?
Yep. Ariadne's turn.
So, this is Calcrix, the white dragon with the jazz wings. She's currently GM tonight, as you can see. She has the DM string. Sorry.
And like all dragons, reads upside down.
Is this where we can interject failed dragon, question mark?
Ow. Oh, don't swear, it's a PG game. I am Thala, which I'm thinking of changing my name because it's very close to Thea, which is my character in my Star Wars game. So it's ironic that this character is supposed to be moving out of my comfort zone, and it's almost exactly the same. So I am Ravinia Thala, the elf druid, technically non-gendered, but at the moment female, who is currently journeying to gather stories and experiences for her life tree, as it's one of the first responsibilities life tree carers are given when they start coming of age. Is that about right?
That's about right.
You got it right.
And online today we have M.
Hello, I am playing Zol, the Cleric Wizard. Oh, he didn't interject this time. There we go.
I was waiting for it too. I'm like, you're still there, I remember.
Yeah. We are back home for the first time in a very long time. And it's spring, did you say?
It is spring.
It is spring. So, lots of tall grass. I'm sure my active is super happy with that. Kill all the people. Yeah.
So is this the one where we travelled over? We're travelling towards the people who got murderized.
And in the background for a little while, we also have Josh.
Hello! I normally play Paladin.
The Paladin!
Sorry, we're all a bit slow. We gotta work on our syncing, guys.
Yeah.
But hey, that might be just how everyone sees it.
And you like clap, there's one person that claps out of 5, and that's us.
But in effect, though, us being out of sync but kind of just after each other really well mimics Chevelle looking at each of us, and each of us hearing the Paladin as she moves
and then
on
we
to the
say
next
it, and then
one.
we say it, yeah.
It works out quite well.
It does.
Oh, hello. Mia's currently sitting next to me watching my iPad screen and watching you all.
You've got to train her early.
Hello, Mia.
You know, if she's not playing in role-playing games by the time she's 6, you guys have failed as parents. So
I would have said earlier.
Well, look, she's already there and she's not even 1.
We haven't had any image with dice in mouth by 6 months.
It's okay. You almost thought she was going to roll better than Josh one of the times she was here.
Yeah.
Didn't
I
she?
need to get, the big D20 plush and like teach her to throw it.
That would be awesome. You can get soft toy D20 dice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Game Crazes and Terminal have the big like D20 dice. Like plushy dice.
Yeah, plushy dice.
So to give a recap of what's been happening, you have met with Redrian after returning from the Sands and the Valley of Death, having found the Temple of Zagona and returning with information about its location. Redrian sent another expedition off, taking some of your party members as guides, and you go off trying to solve a issue which you're best suited to, which was the murder of many Haldanic clerics in the Ethengarian lands, to try to provide a peace offering so the knights don't come en masse and try to slaughter your family and friends.
Sorry, what do you mean your family and friends? Us as in the group, or us as in...
As in M's, Josh's and Sue's characters, family and friends.
People, yeah. So their relatives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Because there are regular clashes between the two. They just don't want it to escalate to full-out war, because technically the knights have the high ground because they also have flying machines.
So was it the knight who slaughtered the Ethengarians?
No, it was the Ethengarians who slaughtered the clerics that work with the knights.
Okay. I'm going to have to write that down to make sure I get that right. The Ethen...
From the stories you heard last session, is that the Ethengarians were being preached to convert to a god they didn't believe in, because they believe in the spirit world more than the gods specifically. So when they say worship this one god because they're the best, it's not their belief system. And so that may have triggered a over-enthusiastic response. But when you have missionaries who don't understand the word no, you sort of end up with some of those things.
So, if I say we're investigating the slaughter of the clerics of the Haldanic Knights by the Ethengarians for unwanted attempts at conversion. Is that right?
Yep.
Alright, I'm good now. I think.
And you spent one night listening to the stories on the edge of the Ethengarian lands.
Yeah, because didn't we have goblins?
Yeah, you just travelled through the Orc lands.
Yeah.
And the Orc lands have hobgoblins, trolls, goblins, kobolds.
That's right, because
all
the
that sort of
Axebeak stood watch at one point, and
That's
the
right.
Axebeak should be on watch for a while, but currently the Axebeak and a number of other animals are following me around whenever I sing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because the Axebeak learn when people sing, generally animals come thanks to somebody.
I see. Does that happen with me?
And so when people sing, the Axebeak tends to follow because it thinks food is going to arrive.
I'm going to have to start hunting regularly to provide the Axebeak with food, so the Axebeak doesn't kill me in place of food, because I'm not bringing food to the Axebeak.
You'll never kill the singer.
The Axebeak can hunt his own food, given the octopus that he killed last time.
Yeah, he usually goes off and gets his own.
But he has become a connoisseur of music because, if you do well, animals come and he eats them. If you don't do well, he'll encourage you to do better.
If we don't do well, he demonstrates where we're going wrong.
He might start offering you some of his catches to...
Animal sacrifices to keep singing.
Yeah.
I don't know where I am ethically on that.
I'm sure your character will get over it very quickly.
I think my character will either see it as a truly interesting story to tell her tree, and via this reasoning overcome any other ethical or moral problems that she has with that.
Though the question is, when legs start turning up, especially the left leg, because that's the one he likes to bring back.
Yes, that's true.
The question is not whether or not that this is a good or bad thing, but will this story add to my tree's knowledge base?
It probably would, because the question is, how come it knows which one's the left leg and always brings that one back?
And as such, therefore, I don't have any vested interest in preventing this from happening. Unless it's to my own
I would have a
teammates.
vested interest in stopping him from being or killing random people. But yeah, we're working on it.
Well, so far he has not killed anyone lately that you haven't wanted him to kill.
Been mostly goblins.
Yeah, mostly
And
goblins.
octopus.
And octopus. Which is good. He provided us dinner for a few days.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just hope he doesn't jump worlds and end up in the other Friday night game.
Oh my god, that would be funny. I'd watch that game.
Yeah. That, I mean, technically, Doozer would probably be, like, super stoked to have an axe beak as pet, but, you know.
The goblin killing aspect probably wouldn't go down too well with a party member also being a goblin.
Probably not, but given that the Goblin Horde also did try to kill us,
That is true.
As far as I'm concerned, your reasoning is sound. We were just travelling through the Orc land.
You just
Yeah.
left the Orclands and ended up in the Ethengar Khanate. You are currently in the Yakas Khans region.
We just entered the Ethengar what?
Khanates.
How do I spell that?
Khan.
Oh, as in tribe.
Yep.
Yes.
K-A-K-H-A-N-A-T-E-S.
KhanAtes.
Also
I
helps
get it
that
now.
Sue may be able to read it on the screen.
Yeah, I could read it off there.
So we've just
No. I know everything.
the Ethengar and Khanate, and
Yep.
we're in the Khanate of...
The Yakas. Y-A-K-K-A-S.
Is this where my family are?
Your family are the Merkits,
Merkits. Okay.
and they're the central one,
Ah.
but it's also the ruling Khans people.
My
Yeah.
writing's really messy.
Did you want to go to sleep?
Okay.
No.
So, upon morning, you hear while you're up as early as you normally do, that their celebratory White Horse ceremony that happened a few days ago went well. It's always a sad and happy ceremony at the same time because one horse amongst all the clans is sacrificed to be the horse spirit for the next year. And because they can actually see this spirit,
Yeah.
it's a sad and happy time.
Yeah.
And it's an honor, but it's also a loss. And it's always the most prized horse of the lands that is sacrificed every year.
Jeez, it'd suck to be that horse. If I was if I was in those horses groups, I'd like be underperforming at that time of year.
And it's very close to yours and so of Camdu's and Zal's horses being at the top of the
Yes.
horses.
Conveniently, we arrived 2 days late.
Yes, that was very good.
Something tells me this timing wasn't entirely accidental.
And it's and basically your horses are amongst the best in the land. So it is conceivable that they could be a future choice.
Yep. Oh, we just go away travelling again.
Well, the thing is, no stallion or mare that hasn't had offspring is ever sacrificed.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the bloodline is never ended with a sacrifice, because that's considered dishonoring the spirits.
Oh, right. Okay.
Does this mean I technically need to make chastity belts for my horses?
It's
I think this would work.
Start out the horses while we're here.
Well, it is considered part of this season that all the horses do get started out to the best of the breeds out there.
Yeah.
And certain ones are then left with the families.
Ooh, will they make money from that?
They will make prestige with that.
Okay, fair enough.
So it's considered the equivalent of people will go out of their way to help you because you've provided the
I
service.
don't actually need money, but I'm hoping for food on my plate.
Because most of them don't deal in money, they deal in barter.
Yeah, that's fine. That's good.
And those who have the best horses,
Get the best barter.
yeah.
I get that.
And there also has the start of the Khan's movement, the Great Khan, to the tent city of Xanthia, which is the center tent city, because that is the spring location.
Yep. That's where they go for. That's their spring home.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a home for every season?
Yes.
Wow, that's kind of cool.
It is a nomadic people, so having a seasonal home is fairly much a given. As it's also known as the Sea of Flowers. It's a good reason. All good. So also known as the Sea of Flowers, it's also one of the best times to go is when the Khan has finished setting up shop. It only takes him about most of the first month of spring to do so, and you're near the end of the first month.
Okay.
So timing is everything.
Yep.
I get that. So is it morning after the night of telling stories?
It's
where
the
we ended
it's
off
the
last
morning,
time?
yes, and that's where you hear about how people are happy that the spirit has been appeased and is so. A horse spirit watches over every year, and the other spirit then gets to move on, and a new one comes in.
Yeah.
And so the honor is that the horse that becomes a guardian spirit for the year is someone who then moves on to the celestial realms and helps bring back celestial horses to the people in future generations and so. So they are known as the horses that keep getting reborn.
They're in a culture where being sacrificed is a part of their natural cycle of ascension, so they're not afraid of that.
It's a great honor for them, but it's also, as much as it's an honor, it's a sad thing. So that's why they don't. They make sure it's only ever one horse.
Yeah.
And regardless of that, if I have a horse, I'm still sticking to chastity belt on it.
They will not touch anyone else's horses for that. Because they see horses as their family.
Yeah, I would absolutely get that. Technically though, I am my own horse, so hopefully they don't sacrifice me. Oh, I haven't had offspring yet. I'm safe. I'm too young. Come on, I'm a druid. I've got like 4 horse forms.
Yes, walking around as a horse may actually confuse people in this area.
Yes.
How long do I get to be an animal for?
4 hours at this stage.
And how long does it do anything negative to me if I just do it just for fun?
Well, basically, you can undo it whenever you want.
Okay. I woke up as a horse this morning. I want to see what tales this might elicit for my tree.
You would have a lot of people trying to talk to you in Ethengarian because they can talk to their
I'm
horses.
pretty sure I've got Ethengarian as a language. So
If you do, you'll understand it.
I have the ability to actually talk back to them, so...
As a horse, you can't.
Oh, I don't have the telepathic ability as a horse.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I just nod, and if they feed me apples, I'm happy.
But most of them are wondering how such a horse, exists because their horses are smaller, leaner, and sturdier than most other horses. So they're the smaller war horse. So
I'll leave that to Camdo to explain because
most of the
I can't talk to them.
most of the elven horses are probably about a foot to 2 feet taller.
Yeah.
Are you going to make Camdo roll to realise that I'm a horse, or should I have told her before I changed? I've let you know.
Okay.
I'm just going to wander around as a horse for a bit.
Okay, good.
I give you an explanation about stories for my tree, you don't really understand it, but, you know, the Druid's a horse right now, who cares?
But just about all the kids try to ride you.
That's fine, I give out as many rides as they want. I'll take 2 or 3 if you know, I'm big enough to do that.
You are bigger than the average one, which is a standout amongst most of the people here, so you're at least a foot taller than most of the horses.
I'll give out rides, but I'll be very disappointed in you if you don't accept some sort of food or something, or barter in exchange for the rides.
Most of the kids don't have barter.
No, I'm teasing.
I know.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I don't seriously mean you should charge children, no. No, my form of barter will usually be a story, so it won't be something that they will physically lose. It'll just be, even if their best story is that they caught a frog the other day, that counts.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And they would understand
So
that.
more seriously, I'd probably let you know that would be...
Yep.
If they can give me a little story, I'm happy to give them a ride for as long as they want.
Okay, I tell them that.
And most of them will be happy to tell you stories of the Great Yurt, the horse spirits, because each year they go back, they all get taught the stories of the horses that had moved on and become the Great Spirit.
This is excellent, not only for my tree, but I also find it interesting and wonderful to learn these things for myself.
They also talk about how hard the last year was with bad things happening.
Pay a lot of attention to what they're saying.
Because most of the kids are excited and worried about the Haldanic Knights, because they're a cultural boogeyman as well as a thing that moves through their lands. So they see these people.
Thala turns into a horse and trades rights in return for children.
And she stops there. So while your brain's resetting, I'm going to go get myself a snack.
I'm just like, I'm going to accumulate like 50 kids and I'm
That's so funny.
Sorry, I didn't mean to swear. I know this is supposed to be PG. My ribs are burning.
Oh no.
No, they always burn when I laugh, but laughter is too rare a thing to worry about that. Okay.
So yes, you do manage to trade many a ride for a story.
Okay. For tales from the children. Just so that we're clear, I haven't acquired a band of children. So they tell me... Yeah. So would I best describe their Yurt tales legend or historical sort of...
From how the kids tell it, it's hard to tell it apart because they don't differentiate years. They just tell the tale as if it happened yesterday.
But I understand that this is more of a cultural collection of tales rather than made-up fictional stories.
Oh, each of the tales does have a moral to the story.
Yeah.
And most of the morals are about along the lines of honesty, trickery, bravery, and basically the cultural beliefs of the Ethengarians taught in story format. Because teaching it as a story makes the kids understand better.
Yeah.
Because they then have a reference saying, this bad person does it this way, so we don't want to do what that person does. And their stories of the Haldanic Knights are very much people who are unwavering, disrespectful, and unwilling to listen to anything but their own doctrine.
Yeah.
Which is why they're the cultural boogeyman.
So the turbulent years, the turbulent times that they're talking about, In recent history, is that the last 12 months, or is that a little bit longer or a little bit shorter?
For them, that is the last 12 months.
Okay, over the last 12 months, really.
I can actually bring up references so you actually be able to use them. Because luckily, I have all the timelines lined up. I plan ahead. Okay.
I heard lots of laughter, so something good must have happened.
Yeah, Ariadne managed to trade horse rides for children.
Only by accident of writing. In actuality, I traded for tales from the children. But there was a moment there where I might have been riding off with all their kids like the Pied Piper, and they may have hunted me down, but we're glad we clarified that now.
That's why I said the player Ariadne and not the character Thaler.
Thaler, yeah.
Because Thaler was doing the trade for stories, whereas Ariadne was trading for children.
Now, if anyone makes jokes right now about the fact that I don't have children yet, they'd probably be kind of accurate, because I was really close to stealing Mia last time she was here. I meant that as a
Compliment?
compliment, yeah. How adorable and lovely she is.
Okay,
Even
so
when she's slobbering.
the last year was known as the Year of the Sheep. And you've had the goblins negotiating with the Great Khan and with the orc warlord Thar about which side they were going to side with.
So the elders have been talking to orc.
To the goblin tribes of the plains.
Okay.
So these are the wolf riders of the Khanates.
So who's the Ethengarians are talking to the
The Great
goblins.
Khan was.
Yeah, the Great Khan. There we go. Sorry. I'm sorry, my.
Okay. And so there was a lot of worry in the group that the wolf riders would join the horse lords, which is basically bringing the monster into your stable. Or the worry was he would oppose the wolf lords with the backing of the orc tribal king who was coming to power. Do they give him more power, or do they keep that power away from him? So a lot of stress has been picked up by the children of the time.
Yeah.
That's been a major worry of the region, because if the goblins join with the horse people, how are they going to feed the wolves?
Yeah.
They don't have the food stock to feed the wolves.
Who doesn't?
The Ethengarians do not have the food stock to feed the wolves. They are the food for the wolves normally.
So, does this mean that this allegiance that the Great Khan has been seeking with the Goblin Riders has worked out?
It's unknown.
Okay.
No one ever found out how it went. Just that there have not been as many raids over that year because there was that negotiation going.
Yep.
They think it ended good because the raid didn't continue over winter.
Yeah. And that's when you'd think there'd be more.
But because it didn't happen over winter, what have the goblins been eating? The goblins normally raid the people and trade the people off, and the horses and their yaks, and there's a constant war between them.
Okay, can we do some role playing now? Because I'm getting really hard.
Okay.
Writing pain bad, pain writing thing. If I descend into words and brains, just make up what I said. Okay.
Okay, so you have 6 days travel to the camp of Xantha.
So, in the evenings, whenever there are kids around, I will tell them very comforting stories, and if I have the druidic power, I make it so that these stories will last with them for a while to give them comfort while they're sleeping. if that's something that I can do. I still don't have my stat sheet yet, so I'm not
Okay.
sure, but I believe I'm capable of doing similar sorts of things to some degree.
Though the shape changing into various animals does amuse them far more than stories of other lands.
I'll do that too. Whatever will entertain them that I'm up to doing. But I leave them with these dreams because I can't be with them to change into animals all the time. So at least I'm assuring that they're getting some sort of peaceful sleep.
Well, the stories of you changing form will be something that they do tell. They do have their own druids that also do that.
Oh, okay.
So you do
Can I turn
find
into animals I don't know?
Help.
You okay?
She just spewed all over herself.
Oh no.
Poor baby.
Is that when we asked, did she go for distance or for volume?
Volume of it.
Oh.
Just trying to be lighthearted for you.
Explain to her she doesn't get an award for that.
Look it up.
Well, it would be interesting when she's older and she says, what did they get all these gold stars for? Oh, this one was for distance. So some would find it embarrassing, others would find it funny.
So can I change into any animals they've not seen?
Yes, you can change into lots of animals they haven't seen.
I pick only animals they haven't seen.
And they change into animals you haven't seen.
I observe these with great attention to detail. Alrighty. 6 days.
And they talk about some of the animals that they turn into date back to before they came to these lands.
What's it take for me to learn an animal shape?
It takes about an hour or two of time and dice rolls. We can add some things later.
Yeah, if that would be good. I'd like to try and learn some of these ancient creatures because my tree will love that kind of really old knowledge, and if I can demonstrate to my tree what these look like, I think that would be even cooler.
And the druids happily learn your shapes as well.
Oh yeah, I'll happily accommodate that. So 6 days later?
So basically 6 days of stopping with each of the fair stops. When I refer to fair stops, it is each one of these tents, you can skip a couple of them along the way, represents a place that the Ethengarians set up for caravan stay. After the your second night in the grasslands, you come to the roads that the dwarves have been building. The Khan has actually been paying the dwarves to build a road for him.
Huh. Interesting.
Well, if you're going to use something with stone, who else would you get?
Yeah. Towards
That
the
is
west.
true.
And the Dwarven Nation is to the south. So if I bring the map up so M can see it better.
Isn't that like where we were with the
There we go.
the now mountain full of dead things?
Yeah. So if I scroll the map down a little bit for you, see how if you can see where the mouse is moving.
Yes.
That is where you were doing that encounter with the undead.
Yep.
And where the undeads took over.
Yeah, we
And
need to go and rectify that one a bit back.
Sorry, squadron.
and so you can see that there is a pathway that leads up and across down into the dwarves. And the dwarves themselves have been building and extending the road inside and outside of the Khanate. The only place they haven't gone yet is into the Broken Lands. You expect them to move there next and set up a way so people can pass through those lands without struggle. You're also expecting them to try to bypass it and go south and through Durrican. Because that way they can control the road a lot better.
Excuse me.
So the last thing you want to do is build a road through an enemy that just wants to kill you.
That's a good point.
Fun, aren't you? I'm gonna have to put you in your sleep. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put you in your sleep.
So after 6 days travel, you find yourself in the Sea of Flowers, the luscious, nicest area of the steppes. That sometimes in the heaviest of rainfalls, the entire area becomes one big, huge lake. But that is so rare.
I collect flowers and press them. And then, like, I have a flower pressing book.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just keep that in my bag of holding. But as many flowers as I can. I take, like, as long as there's plenty of them.
Oh, there's more than you can count, and more varieties than you've ever seen in one place.
Yep.
So I try and get one of each variety.
Oh, you'll never be able to.
No, but I'm enthusiastic and completely oblivious of the reality of the situation. I am just so excited to be able to get this stuff for my tree that all other realities just don't count. It's like tree. Pretty much.
And you find yourself coming up to the big horse fair next to the lake known as Lake Talkai. You do remember coming here every spring as part of the Great Khan's entourage.
Yep.
It's almost a time of dread for you at the same time, because this is when all the
Suitors come out?
yeah.
Oh, God.
It is basically the male and female suitors go looking for their other, and the best way to get ones is to get their attention or steal them from the other clan.
Aha.
They're stealing actual people?
Yes.
Yeah.
But 90% of the time it has to be consensual.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it has to be consensual to the person being stolen, not to the person you're stealing them from.
I check with Camdu. They're not going to steal an elf, right?
And this is within the clan.
Yeah,
Anybody
so-
gets stolen, it'll be myself or Cheval.
Okay.
Oh, they will try to steal outsiders, but that's
Okay.
generally ill-advised, because most outsiders don't consent and will just punch them in the face.
Yeah.
I'm not so worried about you and Cheval. I'm pretty sure you both can take care of yourselves. I just want to make sure that I don't have to be an animal overnight when I'm sleeping, so that, I don't accidentally end up in a tribe somewhere.
Oh, no. You can just punch them in the face.
Although that would be interesting. I feel there's less story potential there. Punch them in the face, you say?
Yeah, because then you don't consent.
Because
Is this how we indicate consent?
That,
Just be very careful about this.
That's how you indicate no consent.
Okay, so, yeah. Okay, alright. We got really close then for me running around a village.
And so Zal has as much to fear as the rest of you.
Yes.
Because the males and the females are equally up for grabs.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's not a male-dominated people, and it's not a female-dominated people.
Yeah.
They quite easily share the plunder,
Everything.
killing, murdering,
Yep.
and
Which,
stealing.
of course, I know all about.
I'm pretty sure they wouldn't try to steal me anyway, because they'd have no clue if I was male or female at this stage, so...
Some of them don't care. It's a challenge.
That's a worry, because how are you supposed to have kids?
Again,
Unless that's possible here.
it's not possible to have kids interracially here. So
No.
for them, it would be the challenge of stealing you and then releasing you later.
I kind of respect that, because they're doing it for the story, and I would do the same kind of things for stories of tree, so,
I don't think
That's another
Zal
new
has
idea.
had the pleasure of punching people in the face, because generally they don't like his family.
Oh, is
you-
that because of the necromancy connection?
I think Zal would have at least had to do it at least once or twice, because some people just don't care, because they could be in more disgrace than you are, and you're a step up.
Well,
Yeah.
she
Okay,
could just pull out her dad's skull, and, that'd probably do the trick.
Not necessarily.
No.
Really?
No.
Because the honour of the clan can be increased by the partners you bring into it.
Yeah.
So, this place where all this is happening, we've reached it. You'd called it something. What did you call it?
It is called Xantha.
Okay.
Xantha in the Sea
That
of
one I knew how
Flowers.
to spell. In the city of what?
Sea of Flowers,
Oh, in the Sea of Flowers, yeah.
which is their luscious grazing lands, and the reason why it is the Khan's own area. This is the only time of year that all the flowers bloom.
Mm-hmm.
I go around and start picking lots of flowers to make a garland for my horse.
Oh, I help you. I will make as many garlands as I possibly can.
And when you're coming in, you see more tents here than you've ever seen before. And they're still setting up.
Oh, okay.
Most of the time, the clans, when you've been here, have kept more to themselves.
But now they're all joining together.
And for some reason, they're all coming in. And you did hear that there are bad stuff going on here and there. And the fear of reprisal from the Haldanic Knights is a big fear of the people, because while they loathe each other and they constantly skirmish, they have not gone to war.
Yep.
Each group going to war is a scary prospect.
Why does that song, when two tribes go to war? No. That was short enough to not breach copyright. And I sung it myself, so who knows if I was actually singing the song.
As long as you're not playing the clip, it works.
Yeah. They can't get you on the...
I just can't help myself. I'm filling in as in the tradition of Josh with the music.
Mm-hmm. And you see that the Khan's own flag is flying above his tent in the very centre.
I suppose I have...
Is that your dad?
No, he's my uncle, but
Okay.
I suppose I should go and pay my respects.
Can I come?
Yeah, okay. You might offend him, and then he'll take the attention off me.
Would you like me to purposely do that? It would make a great story.
Yeah, why not? No, don't do that. He might have you killed.
I don't know. I think it might be pretty hard to kill me, but sure. Well, I'll take your advice. You are the expert here.
You do know that the Khan is the equivalent of King, Emperor, God of these people.
Yeah, no, but you know, if she'd asked me to do it, I'd do anything I can do.
No.
Because Calprix has passed on to me that
Camdu knows what she's doing.
in the spirit of taking over from her with this group, that I am to count them as my biggest priority, and anything they ask, I'll do.
Yeah, well, I'm asking you not to offend the Khan, because it won't go so well.
In which
for
case,
you.
I'll do my best not to do that. In fact, if you like, I can just turn into a horse and then he can look at me.
No, that he might... No, don't do that either.
Because technically, you would know this, the Khan owns every horse in Ethengar.
Yeah, and he'll wonder where you've come from.
No horses.
And basically, the horses, like the people, because he also owns the people, are distributed out amongst everyone to look after over the year. And an unknown horse turning up is basically going to be counted as part of his assets.
Yeah.
I make lots of notes of this so I can tell my tree, but I also make sure that I stick to the advice that you give me.
Yeah.
As much as possible.
Yeah. So I guess I will go up to the tent to pay my respects.
Just before we go in, I ask, how do we exactly pay our respects to your uncle? Like, should I be bowing? Do I greet with
probably.
particular...
Non-family, which doesn't count you,
No.
Generally bow and don't speak until spoken to and indicated to talk, because while he is the leader and most of the people love him, he also controls
I've
it
got to
by
respect him. He's
the fear
leader
of
the area.
repercussions of not following tradition.
Yeah.
So
and he's bound by tradition.
when you go in, I bow with as much flourish as I can, and then I stay with my mouth shut behind you.
Yeah, I will probably bow when I first go in as well. I'm his niece, I'm not his consort or anything like that, so I will probably bow as well.
I wait until you bow, and then I'll do my
As
bow.
you approach, you are greeted by some of his wives.
Oh, yes.
How many wives does he have?
Probably about
Quite a
6
few.
or 7 at least, at any given time.
Yeah.
Is it bad to want to have conversations with these wives? Conversations, not, anything.
Not at this point in time, don't.
No, I mean later.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Cool.
And they greet you warmly because, well, most of them are warriors in their own right.
Yeah.
And his personal guard is literally his wives.
Yeah.
That's not a bad deal.
Yeah.
So they get no harassment from anyone else.
Yep.
And any kids they have are descendants of the leader.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. See, I'm one of those.
I ask you where your dad is because I don't know your history.
My dad is his brother.
But where is he?
I don't know. I think he got killed in battle.
Or is your dad no longer on this plane?
That's why I sort of, the Khan
That's
sort
why
of looks after me.
You are with your
Yeah.
uncle.
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
And they catch up with you quickly to find out what's been going on, what you've been up to.
Yep.
Just asking your general well-being because it's been a while since I've heard from you.
You might want to warn them not to ask me to tell them stories because we'll be here forever.
I might do that, actually. I might explain this druid is very new to our group, but don't ask her to tell you stories. Are you a her?
I don't care. You could call me he, her,
whatever.
him. You know, whatever you
Okay.
call me, I'm not going to take offence. I don't
Okay.
mind.
Okay.
I don't consider it an important designation.
Some elves don't really have that distinction.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
True.
pretty much you couldn't tell either way.
Yeah.
And I might not be sure until I got changed.
Anyway.
Because I change shape so often, I'm just like, whatever.
You can
Yeah.
actually change sex as well.
Yeah.
which-
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Well, that's precisely the reason why it doesn't matter to me, because
Yeah.
I just turn into a male animal or a female animal and I'm good.
So what's Sal doing while we're doing all
Yeah,
this?
where's Zell? Taking care of baby. There? See?
She's currently tucking a tantrum in her swinger.
Ah,
Very adorable.
That would be
Yes.
adorable if it wasn't a little bit stressful.
I jokingly say tantrum. She's kind of mumbling, grumbling to herself, and doing that.
It is a cute tantrum.
It's a cute tantrum, yeah. Oh, big sneeze. So I was probably keeping pretty quiet because, generally doesn't want to get his family in any more trouble than it kind of already is within the clans.
yep.
And then you see Chauvel getting her usual dressing down from all
Yep.
the wives.
Yeah.
About
I would like to hear more about this.
basically about how he's supposed to be the princess's protector, not the princess's maidservant. Which is always hilarious because even the wives know it's impossible to be the princess's protector, but they enjoy doing it every time Chauvel shows up.
Yeah.
Oh man, if I was one of them, I'd be paying her out too.
And because most of them throw in the word paladin in the conversation.
Yeah, they have to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Something else.
And you hear that go on for a while because it's one of their favourite pastimes.
Mm-hmm.
They like to give all the paladins a hard time.
Yep.
Some of them are paladins as well.
Yeah. Yep.
And after they've had a good conversation with each of you, they skip Zal as normal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm totally like this. I'm in the back of the tent. I'm just by myself. I just watch.
Well, if no one's interacting with me, I'll just keep Zal silent company.
And then notice that Yodri has rushed off chasing after the little green guy.
Oh, Wilfred.
Yeah.
As you can see, the little guy's arms stretched out, chasing things into the grasses.
Yeah.
So, as you come in...
Do any of the people we've interacted with in this area make any remarks about pilfering?
Most
in
of
terms
them,
of giving us some kind of clue about pilfering's origins or things like that?
So, from their perspective, he looks like a goblin, but he's not a goblin.
Okay, but they can't tell, because I'm pretty sure if Yodru was here, he'd be asking all of them, so I'm just kind of trying to cover that for him. So he doesn't get any information out of that?
No.
Alright.
His people aren't local here.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
But most of them recognise he's not a goblin, but he looks like a goblin.
Yeah.
Basically, most goblins would be at that size would be attacking and biting people because the goblin children are very uncontrolled.
Yeah.
Instead, he is still turning metal into things?
Not that you've seen here.
Okay, so that's what I want to check. Has Thala seen any of that kind of behaviour?
Thala has seen that overnight.
Of pilfering? Does she recognise that, or is that yet to be determined outside of game?
Yet to be determined outside of game.
Fair enough.
Mainly because things relating to that is not part of what the elves do.
Well, in that case, it's probably fair that I may have heard of it, but I don't know much.
Okay, so yes, he's gone off. You're in, and the Great Khan has basically dismissed most of his advisors, so he can see you.
Oh, cool.
You're seeing quite a lot of really annoyed people walking out, wanting to give you a dirty look.
Just get them, give them one of those really
but
big
you
smug
do know
grins.
that if they do give you a dirty look, you'd probably punch them.
Yeah.
So that they're having this, shuffle, grumble,
Yep.
kicking graph tufts and stuff like that. While walking away from the tent.
But as she pointed out, I will just watch them go with a big smile on my face.
Yes, and you sort of have the feeling that the 6 wives who came out to greet you all have their arms crossed behind you, also beaming.
Yes. Yep.
Because as far as they're concerned, if they just came back from a trip, or any of their kids just came back from a trip, everyone else gets kicked out as well, and they treat you like the Khan's daughter.
Yeah.
They always have.
Yeah. Well, I suspect that when my father died, my mother probably became one of the Khan's wives anyway. And that's why I'm considered a princess.
All good. So yes, as you head in, you notice that he's got this tent is equivalent to the size of a circus tent.
Yep.
So the Great Pavilion.
Yeah.
And while you're at the edge of it, he's at the other end of it.
Yeah.
With the full audience room there, and everyone's been cleared out. It doesn't happen very often.
Wow. Cool.
And he actually gets up and comes and greets you. Normally, he does not get up at anyone,
Yeah.
even family.
Wow.
And he's only ever done so when he's honouring someone returning.
Oh, wow.
And you have been away for a while.
Well, yeah. Well, that's pretty nice. I feel pretty chuffed that he's doing that.
And he greets you warmly and calls you daughter, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So he's been calling you that for as long as you can remember as well. He even did that when his brother was alive.
Yeah.
Because he saw no distinction. He treated you as family.
Yeah.
And he basically brings you in and asks you to tell him of your tales, because he's been hearing stories of you as his people return, telling stories of seeing you. And
Right, yep. Okay, well, we probably spend all the rest of the day and all the night in just telling the stories of some. I mean, obviously, I will skip some of the bits that he doesn't need to know about. But, yes, but I will fill him in on some of the stories I feel that won't be compromising any of the party members or, yeah.
He does find the stories of Galantry fascinating because it is one of their enemies.
Yes.
And he does also have notes down on all of their emplacements and stuff, and you're able to fill out some of those details about where their guard patrols are
And all that stuff, yeah.
because you do notice he has been keeping logs and journals of how they do things.
Yep.
His people have been doing so for a long time.
A long time. And I would have grown up knowing that. Because if he's considered me like one of his children, like a daughter, which then I would have been trained in that as well. Hence why I've been trained as a warrior as well.
He doesn't believe anyone should be untrained and defenseless.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Martin.
Yep.
Emma's just putting down me at the moment, so it's the reason why she's away at the moment.
That's okay. We understood when it went mute, and we knew that Em would pipe up when she could. You about to head off?
Yeah, I'm heading off now.
Okay, well, good luck tonight. Hopefully it's not too stressful.
Yes.
Yeah, hopefully.
And we'll see you at the next game.
Yeah, we'll do. Right. See ya.
Bye.
See you, Josh.
So, yes, he lays out a big meal for everyone while he talks with you. And it's probably the longest time you've had a one-on-one chat with him where he's actually engaged you in conversation.
Yeah.
You find out that from him that the cost was too high for him to side with the goblins. It would have cost them more in food over winter.
Yep.
That would have the equivalent of bankrupted the tribes, made their lives poorer.
Yep.
But endangers them in the long term to send them to the to let the Orc King Thar win their allegiance.
Yep.
So for short-term prosperity, he's let the orcs take on the goblins.
Yep.
He says it may not have been the smartest strategic move, but he also doesn't want to invite the racial enemies inside the camp.
Yeah.
Because in their stories, which you've grown up with, they could never truly be trusted.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, he's looking long term, not you know, even though this is a short term thing, he is looking long term.
He wants to be able to trust them.
Oh, you can't.
He says to an extent they can be trusted. But to provide that level of trust requires a brutality even he's not willing to maintain.
Yeah.
He can provide a small level of brutality needed to get things done, but he doesn't want a society based around constant brutality.
Yeah.
Where the weak are eaten by the strong.
Yeah.
And after spending many months in negotiations with the goblin leaders, it was determined that that level of brutality would be required to be taken on by his people.
And it's not.
That would have to be treated equally across the board.
Yeah.
And they could have dealt with the loss of herds.
Yeah.
But they couldn't have dealt with the loss of culture and beliefs and values and
everything else that makes the tribe what it is.
So technically, the tribes are at war with the Orcian Thar. It's just a matter of when they clash, not if they clash.
Okay.
Because the goblins who went there want these lands and the horses and the
everything. Okay.
animals and the people. They want to dominate.
Yeah. So, if somebody were to take out the Orc King,
it would probably help, but the Orc King himself is probably the scariest person.
Which keeps the goblins in check.
Yeah, he is questing to become a god.
Oh.
Which means, from a player perspective, he is in the 20th level character level.
Whoa, okay.
So, if he succeeds in bringing together all these people and forming a nation that stands the test of time, he achieves godhood as a leader.
Yeah.
So, that in itself was enough for him to negotiate with the goblins in the first place.
Right.
And that was a catalyst for why the negotiations happened. He does not wish the orcs to gain another god.
Yeah.
While people consider him, divine as the divine voice of the people, he knows he is not a god.
Yeah.
And while it is a path to godhood, it's not a path he wants to take.
Right.
For him, conquest is far more important.
Then.
And sending the people to die is not part of that.
Yeah. Yep.
And the spirits have advised that now is not the time.
Yep.
And he does not wish to risk the Khans just to get that prideful thing of saying he has conquered another country.
Yeah.
He has wiped out their racial enemies.
Yeah.
There's too much for it to go wrong.
Yeah.
When you've got people who can rain down mountains on top of you, or have flying machines that mean that they could literally fly up above where they can reach them and rain down fire from above them.
Yeah. Okay.
Because he has stories of the Hellenic Knights and their gear.
Excuse me. Yep.
So he is the intelligent, cunning, adversary sort of leader.
Yeah.
And he talks to you about strategy and
all
planning
of that, yep.
and you sort of get more of an insight into why he taught you a lot of the stuff over the years.
Yep.
Because he believes that any of his kids has the right to rule.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter which parent they came from, whichever one they are.
Yeah.
It's the one who can stand up and lead the people
in the right way. Yeah.
Yeah. and if you get the people killed, there's no people to lead.
Yes.
So they have to know everything.
Yeah.
So he spends most of the night in strategic talks with you, and
Cool.
You hear a lot of stories that you never
Heard before. Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
and how political opponents, families sometimes get sent into Galantry, where he knows they'll die. Because one, he needs scouting of the region,
Yep.
and two, he considers them expendable because it weakens his opponents, and he has to balance all the different.
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
It comes across as cunning and cruel, but necessary.
Yeah. Yep. And I understand it more now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
having
Yep.
been there, having seen what happens,
Yeah.
they could literally roll in as a tide of vengeance and completely obliterate Galantry. But there'd be no one to return.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if they don't roll in at that level, the entire Khan's moving as one,
Yeah.
not one person would make as much of a dent. They might take out one of the principalities.
Yeah. But that wouldn't be enough. And then the retaliation would.
Would be beyond what they could take.
Yeah.
While their gods protect them somewhat, as does the Great Horse Stallion, which is always a white horse,
Yeah.
the spirit itself says it will not protect them if they cause it. It will protect them for unjust, but it will not protect them for the just.
Yep. Yep. I understand that.
So that's where he's sort of trying to figure out exactly how much he can push it to be just.
Yes. But at the same time, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. He still has to do other stuff. Yep.
Yeah. And that's when he asks you if you're willing to go with the sages and talk to the great spirits.
Yeah, definitely.
Because every child gets that chance at once.
Yep.
And it is a harrowing journey. Because it requires you to travel to the World Mountain, the center of the land of Black Sands.
Ooh, okay.
And that's equivalent of heading into madness.
Okay.
Probably about 1 in 10 come back unscathed.
Okay.
Probably about 2 or 3 in 10 come back.
Yeah. Yep. Do I have to go alone?
So you don't have to go alone, but whoever goes with you must believe in you.
Okay.
Because your belief is the only protection in those lands,
Okay.
as is that of your companions.
Companions, okay. Well, I guess it's something I'll have to put to my companions and see if they wish to come.
He is happy to send one of his favourite shamans,
Yep.
who will be willing to guide you there.
Okay.
You will have to take everything you want to take with you. So drink no food that you did not take.
Yep.
Or water that you did
Yep.
not take.
So you take all everything, yep.
Yep. Do not waste what you have. There are no good spirits between the border and the mountain, but what you take in with you.
Okay.
So any spirits you come across in there will be the evil spirits of the land, sent to stop you reaching the mountain.
Okay.
And once you reach the mountain, you'll find the trail which leads up to the top, where you'll be able to ask the great spirits what they advise for you.
Okay. Cool.
And that's why he decided to sit down and have a long talk with you. Is because he wanted to see is this the year you're ready to take this on?
Yeah, I'm ready. Definitely.
And you do know how big an honor and a issue it is, because he's lost many family members to this.
To it. Yep. Yep. And we've seen it all happen before.
And some of them that have come back haven't come back right.
Yeah.
So when you say 1 in 3 come back,
Probably
2 out of 3 come back
back.
wrong.
Yeah. Well, judging from all the stories and the spirits that try and stop you to get there, and then when you get there and you talk to them, then you've got to come back. You'll get spirits on the way back again. So yeah.
It's a many-day journey. Which is why the shaman who goes with you will basically spend a day resting and relaxing before going in, and then will not sleep until he leaves.
Yep. Okay, well, I guess I'll have to talk to the rest of the party and see if they want to join.
Okay. So, is M back? Do we have an M? Probably still on mute? Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay. Probably still putting me down to bed.
Down to bed, yeah.
So yes, he basically pulls out the map and shows you what's involved.
Yep.
And normally you get to ask 3 questions of the Great Spirits.
Okay.
And they will also tell you something you don't ask.
Okay. So I have to think of the questions.
And the questions are left to you because he doesn't want to...
influence anything.
Well, he doesn't want to take away from your chance of asking things you always wanted to know.
Yep.
Unfortunately, your friends will not be able to ask questions.
No, it'll be me only. Yeah, I get that. I'll have to find out if they want to accompany me. Maybe some of them don't.
They are welcome to stay here while you go off and do so.
Yeah.
But it is a great honour, and any who travel with you and return will be honoured as such.
Yep. Okay. I can let them know.
But he does ask that you leave your horses behind.
Yes. If you
Because,
have to walk in, yeah.
No horses are allowed into those areas.
Yeah. Well, something may happen to them, and they're like our lifeblood. Yeah.
It is rumoured that the spirits there feed on horse spirit.
I believe that too.
And it has been proven on more than one occasion. But normally the rider gets fed on as well.
Yeah.
And a shaman can't protect a large party.
No, that's true.
So yes, he asks if there's anything you would like to do before you go. He does have some suitors you're welcome to beat up.
Not again.
He says you don't have to. We can tell them to wait till you come back, which will scare them even more than...
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah. I'm really not looking for a suitor.
Well, from the perspective of you, the suitor can be the person who stays in the land and looks after your herds. Looks after the people who follow you for who you are. And basically does all the administration stuff.
Oh, okay, yep.
So most suitors looking for you are looking for the prestige of being part of the family and offer you something that you can't do.
Yep, I get it. Okay.
And
maybe when I come back from this quest.
And the suitors are either male or female, depending on
whoever,
on what you're willing to entertain.
Yeah, well, I being raised in this family, I suspect that we entertain both sides anyway.
Well, you basically say, what is your offer? Don't like that. Punk.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah.
And by making it an equal thing either way, no harm, no foul. Broken nose every now and then.
Yep, exactly.
You're seeing all the people walking around with broken noses going, was that my job? Did I do that?
I haven't heard that. That's hilarious.
I think Camden would probably hold her punches in that case.
Sometimes it's a badge of honour.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Because
Fine,
some of them will walk around with battle scars because battle scars are badges of honor.
Yeah, I guess
And some people will say, Camdu gave me this.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Now look, when you say the princess gave it to you, which princess? Do I have to ask?
Yeah.
And it's like the one with the record cut across her face. They know which princess gave him that. It wasn't you because you're more than likely to punch them. Whereas you have sisters who are more than happy to make people regret asking badly.
Yep.
Drink?
I would love a drink, please.
Soda?
Anything you can grab easily.
Lemon?
That's
All good.
okay.
Just aware that you guys were all playing, so I didn't.
It's all good. Camdu just got to find out a whole lot of information about her people that she had been on the edge of before.
Ooh.
Yes.
And about how they're culturally going to look after her, and they've given her an honorific that they think she's ready for.
What's the honorific?
A chance to travel and speak to the ancestral spirits and ask 3 questions of her choice and get back 3 answers plus something she didn't ask.
Consider me your best friend.
Yes.
The downside
I am
is...
now glued to your side from now on.
The downside is that 1 in 10 comes back fine, and 2 in 10 come back wrong, and the rest don't come back. No, the people who
The
do
people
this
that
quest.
go.
Oh, okay. I'm still stuck by your side.
Okay.
I'm oblivious to the danger.
Okay. Well, see, he did say they have to be
Willing, yes.
willing and
Look,
dedicated.
from my perspective, here is a gorge. There is a story. That is a guaranteed fall to kill me. This is me running towards the story and completely missing the gorge.
Okay, so I've got one that wants to come.
And how about Zal? Is she back yet? Nope, still on mute. We'll get back to her later.
Yeah.
So yes, you do have a big feast, and you get to meet up with some of the other family who talk about their experiences.
Yep. Cool.
There's at least 10 who, over the last 10 years, who have made it beside the Great Khan.
Yep.
He could not become the Great Khan until after he'd done the journey himself.
As well, yeah. Yep, that's the thing.
And it's rumoured that they told him he'd be the Great Khan. He didn't actually go there expecting to be the Great Khan.
Yeah.
But afterwards, he journeyed out to become the Khan he is now.
Wow.
And that was about 10 years ago.
Yep.
So he's been slowly building up trust between the tribes. And now the Merkits, your tribe, are the only tribe that is in good standing with all the tribes.
Yeah.
Do you want water, cordial, soft drink?
No, I'm fine, thank
sure?
you. Yeah.
Okay. Tea? I can do tea, I just can't do... Oh, I can do peasant's brew. Coffee.
No, it's too late at night. Yeah.
So to give you an example of the tribal standing here, it says friendly, dislike, and neutral, whereas you are the Merkits. So I'll let you have a good look at that.
Okay, cool.
And that shows you all the different tribes of the Ethengar, Ethengars.
Ah, I see. So yes.
I'm good.
So they're friendly with everyone.
Yeah.
That sort of.
Hello.
All good.
Mia is. This is often the most difficult sleep to put her down for. She just. This is like. The evening one is the shortest, and she fights it the most.
Yep.
It's understandable, and we know that she's going to take a long time to get used to it.
Yeah.
So we basically had what you did miss if you weren't listening in the background was it was a big story for Sue with a lot of background that I've left hidden and not discussed.
Mm-hmm.
I heard some of it. I didn't take the iPad with me, but I heard that you saw some elders or something to the like, and that you got like a quest.
Well, she actually sat with the leader of her people who treats her like a daughter and actually had a evening's conversation with him, which hasn't really happened very often.
Mm.
And that he basically dismissed all his staff to have that with her. So, from her people's perspective, it was an amazing honour, but it's also, he then gave her the chance to do something that her people see as a holy quest.
Yeah, right.
And you do as well. Is she's been offered the chance to go up and talk to the great spirits for the people this year.
Oh,
She's
wow.
monitoring you more
so
closely.
I would know about this ritual as well.
You would know this ritual as well. It's not something taken lightly.
Yeah.
Because only 1 in 10 come back okay, 2 in 10 come back wrong, and the others don't come back at all. Because you can anger the spirits by asking the wrong question. You can draw the evil spirits to you and not be able to reach the destination or return.
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
So when you say 1 in 10 doesn't come back, 2 in 10...
No, 1 in 10 comes back.
Okay, and 2 in 10
Come back wrong.
come back wrong.
So only 3
are
in
we
10 come
talking
back.
3 out of 10 come back.
People?
Expeditions.
So the expedition. So
Yeah. Most of the time,
it
the
doesn't
entire
matter
expedition rolls.
what the expedition consists of.
But it's
So if
always
you've got 10 people, 7 of them will be screwed.
no. If you've got a group of people, that there's a 1 in 10 chance that group will make it out.
Ah, I see. So it's the group is considered a single entity, and it is the percentage of chance of getting out. Okay, cool. That's
And
what
the
I just wanted
chance
to
is
clarify.
purely on Camdu, because it's Camdu's quest, and if she falls during the quest,
You better be right about these people. I died in trouble.
because it's she's considered what they call the quester, and the quester is the sole point of success or failure of the mission. If anyone else falls along the way, it's still considered success if you get in and out.
Yeah. Okay. I know we haven't travelled yet or anything, but because I might forget, I will send Calcrix a message about where I'm going and what's going on, and vague but probably not very subtle threats about if I die as a result of taking care of this group for her, she owes my family big time, and she better bring my tree some decent coffee. I don't know if I can get messages to Calcrix, so I presume I can.
You can write many letters here, and
Yeah.
the Ethengarians are the best delivery service in the world,
Although I think
because
she's on the Mega Pyramid right now.
their motto is they'll deliver anything and kill whatever's on the way.
I think
in
just
the way, normally.
delivering it to the...
But on the way, it generally happens.
Is it Darrican that I have my bakery cafe set up now? Not being run by Griffle but by Cadkir's old group? Is that right? Not Cadkir. Cadkir's the other guy. Sorry, Sophus.
Surface.
Too many games.
Yep.
Going to go mad. So if it just gets to there, I'm fine. But I know I'll forget later when we actually leave, and then you'll go, "Did you send a message?" And I'm like, "Ha! I know you."
So yes, you spend the night writing a message. You do see that a lot of people are coming up to Camdu and giving her advice. Most of them have what look to be battle scars that are shown prominently.
So very obvious they've been through things. So are these like previous expeditioners?
Yeah, they are.
Oh,
Including...
that'll be useful for you.
And they also found out that the Great Khan himself, before he quested to become the Khan, went there. And
okay.
most people think that what he learned while he was there was why he decided to become the Great Khan.
Okay. That gives me a new level of respect, because I didn't know him that well. I respected his position, but now I respect the person themselves. I'll also send any finished journal things that I've got off to get back to my people with my tree.
Well,
just in case I don't come back, they've got what I've gathered so far.
One of the wives of the Khan guarantees you that it will be delivered where you want it to.
Just want to get back to my tree. Well, if I die, everything might die with me and not be...
And basically they've also stated that for you to leave your animals and anything that you don't think you need to carry through a desert behind.
I reluctantly pass over my flower book and any other kind of journals that I'm keeping for my tree, and I keep enough so that I can gather more information while I'm on the road.
Because when you're there, you'll have to carry everything to eat, drink, or sleep on with you, because it is a land of death.
Well, as I said, I'll pare down to what I need minimally. I gather you're doing the same. You've got like 60 javelins. What are you doing with those?
So, your character is
Well, we can't carry
spoken
them
to
all,
also
and
by
we can't
the
take horses in there.
wives of the Khan.
Huh?
How are you gonna
Because they do know you as
Which one to take?
one of the clerics of Yamuta.
Because, we've got to take enough food
Yeah.
and water.
And
Can't eat or drink anything
one
in
of
there.
them will be accompanying you into the lands.
Okay.
Because she is one of the great shamans of the tribe.
So we're getting an extra party member.
We get
Well,
a said.
And, and she is the person who had originally instructed you in the Spiritologist.
Yeah, so my many lessons which I sometimes didn't pay full attention to.
And you do know that the role of the Spiritologist in these people is partly as a guide for those who need to travel those lands.
Yeah, right.
You can seek the right to do so yourself, go up and ask questions, which is generally granted, but only one person a year is normally asked. People can seek the honour themselves. That honour is a mixed
I can
blessing.
assure you, I will not do that because I respect your people too much. Even though there's part of me going, I really want to ask a question.
Because the answers they give you cannot be unlearned.
It's Camdu's honour and Camdu's role. I won't interfere with that in any way.
I'm tempted to do it because it would answer a lot of questions I have about my family that I just don't know because they got brutally murdered.
Yeah.
So, when you're limited to these 3 questions, is it 3 questions per person or 3
just
questions
me.
per group?
3
Just-
questions per seeker.
Just
okay,
me.
so could Zal become a seeker herself and then they both get to ask 3 questions?
She could, but she would have to come
separate.
back as a separate expedition.
Ah, I see. Okay, that's what I was trying
Right.
to understand.
And so yes, you can become a seeker, but you basically have to get the right to be the seeker from the Khan.
Okay, alright.
Right, okay.
And he will willingly grant it to most people after speaking to them.
So this leads me to ask, if Zal was to ask Camdu whether or not she could ask a question on Zal's behalf, obviously that would have to be negotiated, and I'm not talking on either of those. I'm just looking at the technicality side of it. Is it possible for Camdu to ask a question on behalf of someone else? And will they get the knowledge, or is it going to be, like, stuck with her?
It will be her truth.
Okay, alright.
So
So
whatever
it's
question
very
she,
unlikely you would ask on behalf of someone else.
so whatever question she asks, she learns the full truth behind,
Okay, that's good. I just want to
which
understand how it works.
is considered a blessing and a curse.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you ask the equivalent of how will I die,
I've experienced a lot about curses in the sense of the stories my people are telling. I'm not interested at all in walking this line.
As a character, Zal would never even dream of asking Camdu to I guess, waste one of her questions on me if I was going to do it.
That's kind of what I meant. I was just trying to explain to Martin.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of a way to explain to him how to ask the technical question without using people's names, but I never intended to speak on your behalf in any way.
No, that's fine. I knew where you're coming from.
And-
As a character though, if Zal was going to seek out these answers, he would do it
Do herself.
else.
Himself,
He would understand that this is Candu's quest, and I might have to take my own up at some point. Though now is probably not the time.
and you do know that Camdu would easily support you on the quest as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just might end up going there and back again and there and back again.
Yeah.
And it would normally only be once per month.
Yeah.
Well,
they
for
don't
that
do
sort
that
of
often.
thing.
But yeah.
But, you know,
Because you also know don't badger the spirits because
Yeah.
I didn't mean right one after the other, but
Yeah.
in the end, you know, over our life's journey, we might
Yeah.
end up going there twice, one for Camdu or one for Zal.
Yeah.
and a third
Best
time for
Cheval.
Cheval.
Oh, Cheval's gonna. Okay.
Well, Cheval's part of my tribe.
Man, this is like the never-ending story of The Lord of the Rings, like The Hobbit, where you go there and back again.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's never given lightly, and it might be that Zal is turned back because it's not her time.
Well, yeah. So, yeah, I'm presuming that the timing will not be exact at this stage.
So it was revealed that family members are asked, and a family member generally doesn't get a chance to ask.
Oh.
So they are told, we feel it's your time, would you like to do this?
Does that mean Zal will just have to wait until...
Zal is not one of the family.
Oh,
No,
okay.
so I would have to seek audience with the Khan and have like the sort of the chat,
Yeah.
I guess.
And Kamdu is presented with the Seeker's Staff,
Okay.
which basically signifies to all the tribes and to
That
the spirit
she's on this
world
journey.
that she's on that journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I understand
And basically,
that part
during the journey, she is forbidden from killing anything
too. You poor thing.
as part of the cleansing of the spirit before meeting
So
the
she
spirits
just makes
themselves.
Cheval all meet.
I was just going to say, Cheval, you're up.
Which also includes beating people up. But
I'm not discounting Zal.
by taking the Seeker's Staff, you basically have one of the others take on that responsibility for you.
Oh,
I presume...
that is going to be the hardest thing for Kamdu to do, because she always just goes ahead and does her own thing.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen, which is why I'm like, I'm so
Which
sorry
is
for you.
you also realise that the Khan did not present the Seeker's Staff to you that night,
Yeah.
and was basically said to you, if there's anything you really want to get out of your beforehand. So you get to have the most brilliant brawling night,
Ever.
drunken
This
sort of
is
thing
exactly
going.
what I was
And I
thinking.
think that's exactly what Kamdu will do.
And I'm thinking, like, when it comes to Zal's turn, like, I'm like, Zal, you should kill everything you can on this journey over, because when you do it again, you won't be allowed to, so get out of the assistant.
Zal generally doesn't seek out to...
No,
like,
that's why I'm like, Cheval, you're up.
up.
I know that Zal doesn't seek it out, but Cheval, if she sees something that is, what's that word? Against her beliefs and her god, she'll take the initiative, if that makes sense, rather than wait to be provoked.
Actually, that's a good question, because Cheval has smoked people through his god before. Does that count as killing people if you ask your god to do it?
Especially so because you'll basically intervene directly yourself to have that happen. And you do find out that Cheval has been taken aside and forbidden entry into the lands of Black Sands for this visit.
Is that where we're going?
Yeah.
Oh, what?
What?
Basically, she's been told she will not leave if she enters.
Does that mean we can't take Cheval?
So you're going with one of the shamans, so you can take Zal.
But we can't take Cheval. Okay.
And you also would realise that, considering she's technically your bodyguard, she's also an extension of you in that terms.
Well, does that mean I can't leave?
No, as in, if she was to go around beating people up,
Oh, I see.
So she can't beat up people instead
because
of Candy.
technically any person she beats up, she's beating up in your name anyway.
Uh-huh.
But, you know, what Cheval to be left behind?
Well, Cheval gets a lot of attention and a lot of pampering.
I'm very worried about this, though, because I made a solid promise to Calcrix to protect all of them, and now one of them's not going to be around, and...
I'm
So,
pretty
well-
sure Cheval can take care of herself, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but my character doesn't know her that
And
well.
she's back in the tribe, so this is her home.
Again, my character doesn't know her too well. I
And-
only know what I promised Calcrix.
Then you also find out that Yodri has to stay behind to protect the child, because the child can't go either.
I
Yeah.
am even more uncomfortable. So while you're brawling and drinking, probably with Zal, I'm sitting there going, shit. Shit.
So there'll be 4 of you crossing the desert.
Okay, alright. Black Sands?
The Black Sands, yes.
I make sure I've got some vials to collect. Am I allowed to collect Black Sands?
You are,
I will.
but it is considered toxic material.
Oh. Do I have the kind of vessel that would be required to contain that toxic material safely?
As long as you kept them, stop it in the vial, it's not something you'd want to let out near your tree. Because...
Alright, I'm not going to bother about it. When do we leave?
You would leave once Camdu is awake enough to accept the honorific.
That's funny. Sorry. I know.
So,
so Candy's like 3 days later. Oh, sorry.
so how long does it take Camdu to be awake enough to accept the honorific? Because the card doesn't care how long you take. Because he knows what it's going to cost you to not be able to...
it probably takes me at least 3, 4, 5 days.
Zal can kill things, right?
Yes.
Thank goodness. Because, yeah, I think we need at least one person who can kill coming with us.
Well, there's spirits in there.
And you do have someone who is...
I was going to say, isn't that Zal's forte?
Yeah.
It is, yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
As her mentor as well is going with you.
Yeah.
Which is...
So we've got 2.
One of your aunts.
The spiritual
One
guide.
of my brothers.
Aunts, actually.
Aunts. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Alrighty.
She's also one of the paladins of the tribe.
Yeah. Yep. So,
So we don't get to miss out on the paladin bit.
no.
You don't actually get the paladin in your head when you look at her.
Oh, why not?
Because she's not that sort of paladin.
Oh,
No.
okay. I'm going to kind of miss that, but not miss that at the same time.
She looks a little unassuming yet intimidating at the same time.
Yeah.
So when she doesn't want you to be frightened, you think it's all nice and good. And then when she's angry, everyone sort of goes...
I would get that. Considering Yodri and Cheval are being left behind, then I would leave all my musical instruments, which usually are in my bag of holding type stuff, with them. So that
you can put all the water and food we need in
yeah,
your bag of
that's so. I
holding.
take all my
Awesome.
instruments and non-necessary generals out, so I can put. Do we still have those jugs? Like the group bought those jugs for the desert, so I'll put some of those in there, whatever food we need, and I'll just basically use up my space with that.
While you're doing that, the paladin comes over to you and says that you're journeying technically into the spirit world.
Yep.
You will not be able to access extra-dimensional spaces.
Oh.
Okay,
Once you-
so I start unpacking my bag of holding into proper backpacks.
Yeah.
Because when they said you literally have to carry it,
That's what
they
that
were being
means.
literal.
And thank
Okay.
my tree, I am an elf, so I can probably carry a really full backpack.
And so can do.
I'm presuming I can carry a pretty weighty one.
So amongst the four of you, you do notice that you are carrying probably enough to walk there and back again twice.
Yeah, and that's good.
And
on that account,
from the stories, you know why.
I don't
Yeah.
take any of my journals with me. I'll write things down when I get back. I'll just take time out and fill it in then. I'm just going to take absolutely we can't live without it stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
And so you get your quested staff with the glowing ribbon.
Yeah.
Is Zal
It's
also
literally one of the
preparing?
few times you're carrying a ribbon.
Yes.
Martin,
Yep.
just a quick question. Does that include my book that I have to leave behind?
Yeah.
Or is that something I can take?
You can take it with you, but it's up to you because this place attracts what you bring into it.
Right.
Oh,
So
wow.
if you bring evil into this place, evil will come to you. If you bring good into this place, good will come to you.
I'm presuming your dad's skull is not good.
No, I wasn't even talking about my dad's skull. I was talking about
Your spellbook?
one of my spell books.
Okay. Is your spellbook evil?
That is a very good question. Probably.
How did you find that out?
Well, if you're suddenly attacked by hordes of undead in the lands of Black Sands, you probably go, maybe that wasn't a great idea.
Yeah.
Oh, I am. It is Zal's possession. I've got no
Well, see,
control over it. But
Your
she
character is
doesn't.
so new to the party. You wouldn't even know I have this book.
No.
I usually keep it very close to hand, and only the party members know of it. They don't know the significance of it either.
And that's so. I guess what I mean to say is, what you bring with you is your business. I don't even know what you've got with you, but if you decide to bring you're like, all the musical instruments in the world and no food, I'm happy for you to make that decision on your own, whereas...
And you see for the first time...
I won't interfere, is what I'm
that
saying.
Camdu has not a single weapon on her.
Yeah, none.
Isn't the staff kind of like a weapon?
It can be considered a weapon, but it's also a holy relic.
Just teasing. The ribbons. What colour ribbons?
It glows. You can't actually see the colour.
Oh.
Good.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to have coloured ribbons. Ugh.
Oh, well, I was just hoping Mark would say
everyone
pink.
sees a different colour.
Oh, okay.
And the thing is, the colour will change while they're looking at it.
Quick
but it's
player
glowing.
question. Did you get that idea from my thing, or is that from a...
That was...
Because I got that fabric in my book.
No, that's actually from the
It's
ribbon
from
was
the
added just on whim.
Okay. Yep.
The staff is actually something that's in the
But
stories.
you perceive a different colour idea. Where did that come from?
Whim.
Okay, yeah, okay. I just was hoping I'd inspired your influence during
I
some
probably
way,
did, because if I read it, then it sticks, and I
Yeah,
but
reuse
you
it.
have read it. You've read it a couple of
In
times.
which
Well,
case,
that's
then
probably stuff,
that's
yeah.
probably where my whim got it from.
I was
You know what
being
I
a little
like.
bit egotistical and selfish.
There's nothing wrong with being egotistical,
Alrighty.
but it wasn't planned.
Do I have... I've got a bow and arrow.
Oh, you do have a bow and arrow.
Or arrows. I presume I'm allowed to take those?
Yes.
So that in the backpack for me.
Though most of them say your weapons will do you no good inside the lands,
Well, in that case I don't bother.
but you might need them outside the lands.
Well, in that case I do bother.
Because
Thank you for messing with my brain like
Because
this.
you are walking through the field of flowers before you get there.
Alright, so I guess Sal and Camdu are doing the same preps.
Yep.
So Zal gets to carry her weapons.
Yeah.
Lucky you.
Well, I mean, apart from my two bows, I really don't carry many other weapons, to be honest.
Are you going to take the spellbook though? Even though, as a character, I have no idea, but as a player,
I mean, that's the thing, though. I don't think I don't think it's a good idea to take the spellbook I'm thinking of, but I don't know who I could trust to.
Well, Yodri is staying behind, as is Chauvel, and being someone traveling with the Questa, your gear would be considered untouchable by anyone unless you're reported to have failed in your quest.
Right.
that's something.
Because they honour the questers and the person who's in charge as their highest honour.
Honor, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Zal, you know how you were saying before, I don't know you well enough to even know you have the book. I presume, though, that you know Yodri and Chauvel enough to have a level of trusting them that might be enough for you to leave your possessions with them.
Yeah. The thing
No?
is with this book, though, it is. I'd possibly trust Yodri with it, but I definitely wouldn't trust Chauvel, because that book is part of the reason why I don't have parents.
This is totally, utterly meant as a joke, but you could give it to pilfering.
Though you do know you could leave it in the quester's tent and not even Chauvel would be able to step
Access?
over the threshold.
Oh, well, that's
Oh,
really
okay.
handy.
Well, in that case, that's fine. Sorry, I
Because-
didn't know that caveat.
So only the questers can get them, or the report that the questers have fallen
Yeah.
is when then that the items are then retrieved.
Mm.
And
Okay.
then it doesn't matter who gets them.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, well, I do that. I go into the tent and put a few of my possessions in there.
You'd even leave
and-
your armor behind because you know how much of a detriment the stories say that is.
What does this tent look like? Does it have shelves in it? No furniture? Or is it just like a tent, a bit
It's
of
a tent.
grass?
It would basically be a small yurt
Yeah.
designed for storage,
Yeah.
not for sleeping.
So I'm just trying to figure out, if I'm putting stuff in there, do I hang it up on a hook or do I just leave it on the ground?
Well, it'd be on the ground on
Okay, yeah.
rugs,
That's
and there would be at least 2 guards standing either side of the tent
I
the
just
entire time.
like the visual, it helps.
And the guards are basically honorific because only a stupid person would attack, and
Yeah.
if anyone did, then the wives of the Khan would basically hunt them down and murder them.
That's a pretty good reassurance.
Martin, while I'm in the tent,
Yep.
I will talk with my father's skull, and ask him. On top of the other things, I'm leaving behind. Is this land somewhere you can go into without causing problems?
Oh, so you want to bring Dad? Awesome.
Okay, so you hear Zal in Celestial.
Oh, I'm not listening in at all.
I know.
It's just,
I'm saying that to M.
I'm sorry if I
looking your
say
direction.
things out loud. I'm just.
It's okay. While I'm looking in your direction, the camera's also this way to
Oh,
talk to Zal.
okay. Sorry. Mm.
So Zal hears her name in Celestial.
That's not unusual.
So I put camera here so I don't have to turn this way.
No, that's fine.
Just
I'm
letting
sorry, I'm
everyone
just a
know.
little bit out of it, and
Yeah, all good.
some of my inside thoughts end up outside, and I know that's disruptive, and I'm
We know what
apologetic
that's
for that.
like, and we're patient. And so yes, you think it would be interesting because you're not exactly sure what would happen.
Yeah. Though, because he has talked before, but I still haven't figured out the trigger for him, saying more than just my name, as much as I've been trying to.
Or projecting Chevel's and chauffeurs' love scenes.
Oh, I think my dad thoroughly enjoyed doing that, just
Yes.
by.
Wouldn't it be good if he could, project something that was relating to you? So that's what I mean. It would be interesting to see if taking him, this is on a player level, if taking the skull in would give you enough knowledge to figure out if maybe he can start projecting memories or something like that.
Yeah, but the problem is, even Zal knows how bad these lands are.
Yeah.
You ordinarily never go there in your life.
Okay, yeah.
It's not a place you go on a dare.
Thus the consolidation with Dad.
Yeah.
Does he intonate like I am Groot, or does he just
Yeah,
say,
it's kind of like, so him saying my name is Celestial is kind of like I'm Groot.
Oh, okay.
But he does have some inflection with that.
Mm.
But I have known him to actually answer in some way or actually talk.
It's a bit like my
And
support
I've
workers.
been spending years trying to figure out what those triggers are or how I can
Yeah.
converse with him more. And I still haven't quite cracked
Got
it.
the hang of it.
Um,
It just brings to mind when I'm down to saying words, brain words, brain words, and my support worker is looking at me, and when they first start, they're very blank when I'm doing that to them. But as time goes on, they go off and get me a drink or something, and I'm like, how did you get that out of those 2 words? So I'm guessing it's like that for you.
yeah, pretty much. So does he just say my name once?
He just says your name once.
And what kind of feeling do I get off?
A cheerful sort of feeling.
That?
A cheerful sort of feeling.
Oh.
A full sort of feeling.
Cheerful.
Cheerful. Happy.
Cheerful.
Cheerful.
Do I interpret that as a yes, he can go to the place?
Like just about everything else he does for you, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, fair enough.
Toss a coin, but not to the Witcher. Toss a skull?
I'm sure it will come up heads.
Neck down or skull down, maybe? Right
No,
cheek
just
versus left?
heads. Heads. It's a cheating skull.
Ah, I see.
Because no matter how she rolls the ball that the skull's in, the skull's always facing up.
Yeah, fair enough.
So it always comes up heads.
Oh, is it in a bowl? Okay,
Yeah,
I thought it was
it's a
just a
drift
skull.
globe.
Okay.
So the drift globe is kind kind of, you know those like macrame, like plant hangers?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of in something similar to that around my, like tied to my belt,
Okay.
essentially.
And, like, what size is it? Like, a human head size? So he hasn't been, like, shrunken or anything ridiculous like that, which would be hilarious, but probably not appropriate.
No, so it's like his human skull inside a like glass sphere, and he
Like a
provides-
snowball without the base?
A snow globe.
Yeah, snow globe. When you shake it, does it snow?
No, he just
You
just
get
puts
out?
Sorry.
Oh my god, Ash should be
picture in
so
my
appropriate
head.
considering your last name.
And then you start shaking it and asking a question. And then the words come up. Action unclear. Please shake again.
Not looking good. Ask me later. Oh, sorry.
I conversed with him a bit more, saying, you know, like, I feel uncomfortable leaving you here, but I also don't want to bring trouble on Kamdu's expedition. Do you have any guidance for me for this quest?
Okay, so when you ask that, his eyes light up and you see a map appear on the inside of the yurt, showing the path from the Land of Black Sands to the World Mountain. Showing that the longest part, which is where you're closest to, will take you 4 days to cross.
Yeah.
And the shortest path will take you 1 day to cross.
Oh, wow. So we need to go up to the shortest one.
And if you take the shortest path, you will probably not walk out again.
Oh.
Well, that's good information. Please tell us that.
I spent some time.
Well, she's in there by herself,
Jotting
so I'm
that down.
hoping she passes that knowledge on.
And there's a reason why none of the questers go in that way.
Has Kandu told any of that though? Because if none of the questers
she's
go...
been taken with a guide,
Oh, so the guide probably knows this. Okay, well this is handy.
and the guides generally don't discuss why they go in various places.
Yeah, but I mean, if other seekers have come back and it's kind of well known amongst their people, then surely they wouldn't leave her
They're not allowed
without
to
a
talk
way.
about what happens inside.
Aren't
No.
they?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's considered a spiritual quest.
So, am
It
I allowed to
probably
tell any
means
of
my
this to my
dad has
tree?
been on this quest.
You
as
are,
well.
but you don't know what answers she gets.
Oh, in terms of her answers? Well, I'm not
Yeah.
worried by her answers.
And also it's considered bad form to talk to the other questers about what to expect too
So if
much.
I go home and tell my tree I'm good, right?
Telling your tree's fine. Telling the other Ethengarians the secrets of the lands of the Black Sand is considered bad form.
No,
Yeah.
I just want to tell my tree. That's the only person I really want to converse with on
'Cause-
any lengthy level.
The big thing that they most talk about is the danger of people going there who can't survive.
Yeah.
And so many youths die every year crossing into those areas to prove their
Yes.
It
strength.
was.
Yeah.
Does this mean that even though Zal's dad's shown her this, that she's not allowed to tell us because
No,
of that?
she can basically tell you, but she shouldn't be telling you where anyone else can hear.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a
Yeah.
private thing that would be.
It would be in private.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it also means
I
that
forget that.
my dad has probably done this quest as well.
Yes.
Oh wow, that's a good thought.
Yeah. And that's why
really
he's
good
showing.
thought.
That's why he's probably showing.
Yeah, he's done it before.
And the path that they take is not straight. They don't
Yeah.
go straight from there. They take a big winding path through the lands.
Yep.
So you could quite literally cross that in 2 days at the widest point.
But
It is at the
we
centre.
don't because we
What
have
was
to.
that?
The cat's restless. I couldn't even treat you. Okay,
I'm okay.
Sorry for that.
Yeah.
And you can understand why that.
Yeah.
Because it's not only is it meant to cleanse you physically, it's also meant to cleanse you mentally. So when you climb up to the top of the mountain, you're prepared to ask the questions you most want to hear answers to.
Yep.
So while I write this down, does my father give any other indication whether he is okay to come along, or...
He doesn't indicate one way or the other, but he does seem to have knowledge of the lands.
I suspect he's been there.
And it's not a common thing. It's most people aspire to be a quester.
Yeah.
With the understanding that most will never be accepted to be a quester, or actually achieve it.
Yeah. I think in the end I'll probably take my dad's skull, because while I'm unsure whether he was specifically cause things, is probably, now that you're showing me this, far more useful. And then I don't really want to be separated from my dad, because, I have been in the past and don't want to go through that again. But if he has knowledge, he would be able to warn us, potentially, because he has knowledge. But I leave other things like my Book of Shadows, a few of my other, like the whistle, a few of my other books.
Mm-hmm.
Where's my phone? I'll take my other spell books. So my cleric and my wizard spell book, and my ritual book, because they're not inherently magic. What else have I got? Yeah, pretty much like I'll leave most things. I'll take my bows, my arrows, and my daggers. And that's pretty much really the only weapons I wear anyway. So, but yeah, I'll leave, like, I think I have a wand as well somewhere.
Okay.
Sandwich. So yes, you put all those things safely away. You realise that you hope to see them again, but you understand the ramifications of your quest.
Yeah.
And do you leave them to anyone if you don't come back?
I might leave the golden arrow as well, because if we don't come back, it is far better to have that left in the plains than it is in the land of the Black Sands.
Even though it's got your mum in it?
That's right, bugger. Forgot about that.
I didn't.
Yeah, no, don't.
Never mind then, I take it with him.
Sorry. I meant that in camaraderie rather than at you.
No, I know.
Okay, so you are prepared. You have what you believe you need with you. You see, it did take your quester 5 days to get into the quest mode. And there were 5 days of brutal conquests of challenges and acceptance and trials. And then your quester is finally ready to give up violence for the travels.
At least it gave me like a few days to make this map my dad showed me.
And you see that the group of people with black eyes and missing teeth are quite numerous, waving the quester safe travels.
It's all punched?
Can do.
Oh,
punched.
Oh, I see.
At least she got it out of her system? Question Question mark?
Some of them being brothers and sisters.
Yes.
Oh,
Don't know if I got it out of my system, but I had fun.
That they made sure you made the most of it.
Yep.
man,
Yep,
that's,
fair enough.
that's family. That's like real commitment to family.
And you do see that Camdu looks the most beaten up she's ever looked in her life.
Yep.
She basically went until she was completely knocked senseless.
Yep.
Well, until she couldn't fight no more.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yep. Sort of like when we had to get dragged out of that place where I was trying to fight the god, you know?
Oh, yeah.
The
Zarganites.
Yeah.
Cthulhu.
Yeah, the
Avatar.
Cthulhu. Yeah, the Cthulhu avatar.
25
Yeah.
seconds, it might be on.
So yes, you spend 3 days walking to the edge of the land of Black Sands. You can tell the difference. There is really nice long grass, and suddenly, just as if they've cut the grass right at this point, it's just looks like glass shards everywhere as far as you can see in front of it. All the grass that bends in that direction stops before it goes over the top of it.
Wow.
So no grass blows into these lands,
Yep.
and it's like it is perpetual gloom in there. As you set up to rest for the day at the edge, while your shaman guide prepares herself to mentally stay awake for a week.
Are those preparations something that I can observe and kind of get a little bit of detail out of?
It looks like meditation.
I presume Zal joins her, seeing as I know some of this ritual.
Am I allowed to ask Zal about this ritual, what she knows about it?
You can.
I asked Zal, what's she doing?
I presume that she's praying to Yamago Mama.
She is, but she's also resting and taking into herself as much energy and life of the land as she can.
Yeah.
Like absorbing.
So she can hopefully withstand the rigors of travelling for 7 days without rest.
Do I even know how to do that? Can I just turn myself into like a mice and then just sit on, or a bird and sit on Camdu's shoulder?
You can.
So that when I need to get my 4 hours rest, I could do it. Like in a hood or something.
Mhm.
Or a pocket.
Yeah.
Please don't crush me if I end up in a pocket.
Okay. I'll try and remember you there, but yeah.
This is how much I love my cat.
Cooling the chicken for him.
I had to defrost it, there was nothing left in the fridge.
I quickly explained to
You a good boy?
Vala the ritual and help where I can our guide in getting the spiritual energy, and probably praying to Yamuga myself as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're a good boy.
So you see that she does this all through the night and recommends you all rest and sleep, because this will be the best night's sleep you'll have before entering.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And maybe,
Because we've been travelling so long, we're just used to crashing when we need to.
well, she does say that you will not dream well once you're across the lands.
Yep. Okay, well, we've sort of had some of that too, no thank you.
You've heard of stories of nightmares of people from here, but no one ever tells you what they dream.
Oh, okay. Where was that place we went where we were having lots of nightmares? Do you remember?
The Isle of Dread you had some on the way
Yeah.
there.
It's probably
Um,
going to be that trying to target your worst fears. Be something
Yeah,
similar.
Isle of Dread, and I think we got a little bit of that in the Northern Elven Kingdom a bit as
Yeah,
well.
that's what I thought.
You had
yeah.
that there too.
Didn't we
Yeah.
get a little bit of it in some places of the pyramid as well?
We did.
Of course, I don't know that, but I know that.
Because most
She knows that.
of your character's fears are what make your character that
Yeah.
come to life.
I probably don't have very many fears.
You would. Fears of not returning, fears of not having a story to tell.
Mostly my fears will be, if they're picking on my worst fears, is my tree on fire or dying. So, it's going to be a very hard 7 days for me. So by the time we get there, big bags under the eyes, black, and I look like someone's punched me in the head 15 times.
But
Wow.
being an elf, you don't sleep very often. So most of the time you go into what they call trance.
Yeah.
So you don't actually dream.
So I don't have those nightmares?
Not very often.
Awesome, I look pristine.
And once morning at sunrise, you're all woken by your aunt. She doesn't use her name.
No.
She rarely uses her name.
What do we call her?
Normally, it would be an honorific or a just acknowledge her because
It would probably be like priestess, or whatever the Ethengarian equivalent is.
Would we be allowed to talk to her? Would she be interested in talking?
she does talk, but she would have talked on the way here.
But like as we're travelling there, is she now like totally focused on doing the guidance and
Well,
therefore-
she's just spent the day cleansing
Okay.
to then stay awake for 7 days to take you in and out.
Yeah. Well, my question is based around whether or not my character can spend the whole time asking her questions, or whether or not I need to respect her space and just sit back and...
Well, when you got here, you were told to respect her space.
Okay, alright, in that case, that's what I do.
But she does give each of you a cloth to cover your face with while travelling. Because she
Cover around
says...
what, sorry, Mum?
Your face, because she says the sands themselves
sands.
will pierce your eyes and blind you
Oh,
at the
right.
slightest wind.
Yeah.
Because the lands is literally small pieces of glass, and the winds are tiny fragments of glass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yamuta has created a barrier around the land, stopping the glass from leaving.
Yeah.
But
Hence the sudden stop in the barrels.
Ymut is the god of...
he's also known as Mother Nature to the
okay, yeah.
elves,
Cool.
or Mother Earth, as the case may be. I think it's Mother Earth, actually. So the goddess of earth magic and matter and life. So each of you is given a cloth and shown how to put it around you, because it also covers your ears as
So
well
it's
as
kind of
your
like a
eyes.
scarf, maybe? Yeah.
Headrest more than anything else.
Headdress, yeah.
But she doesn't care about it getting in your hair or other stuff. It's just to stop it getting anywhere where you breathe or see or hear. The rest of it can be healed. Some of that cannot, she says.
I'll wear my cape anyway with the hood up as well as the...
We probably all do. Probably all.
And she recommends wearing as little weight otherwise, because it will be very hot.
Yeah.
Sorry, as a what?
Any too much coverings beyond that, because it's going to be very hot.
Yeah, but even when it's really hot, but it's not. There's no sun.
There's
I
no
was going to say
sun.
sun. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Well then, yeah.
We haven't figured out the details yet because we were going to discuss this, but you did let me have a cape of drop scales that Calcrix has had. Is that heavy, or is that...
It would be something that would keep you warm.
would it... Is it that sort of clothing that in the cold I feel warm and in the hot I'm kind of okay?
You've never really taken into the heat.
Okay. Do I know this before I get there?
Yes.
I leave my cape behind.
Okay.
I'm just wearing a standard one.
So the sands, so the grasslands outside the lands feel very cool, as it's still just the second month of spring. You can see rains going across the grasslands. But the moment you step over, it's like you've stepped back into the desert. There, you can't see the sun overhead. You can't feel the sun on you.
So what's our vision like?
You can basically see normally.
Okay. So our vision's not obstructed, but there's just no sun.
Yeah.
And you
Like
feel
twilight, dark.
the noise levels change. You don't hear any living animals, birds chirping, grass, insects making noises.
Wow, even without the nightmares, I'd find that hard.
And you step into almost complete silence, except for the crunch of your foot as it sets down. And you just see it looks like you're standing on a pile of broken glass.
So unlike my usual effusive self, I respect the environment and I stay quiet.
And each of you has had your shoes basically reinforced before coming here.
Before coming in, yep.
Because basically...
It is like broken glass.
It is literally glass.
That's really good then.
Martin, would I have left my shield as well, or would I brought that?
You would have left it behind because you've been told that your shield will provide you no protection here at all.
Right, okay. So I'm just in like my basic leather armor, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
How quick's this going up in the wall? Only slightly.
Just so you can see clearly,
So, just so you know, she started off like this.
Yeah.
And then I put a container under it so she could turn and look like this. And then I put my apple container so that now she can directly monitor Martin and make sure that he's GMing correctly.
That is adorable.
I liked it, which is why I had to show you. Okay, so yes, so when all of you step over, you do feel the strangeness of the lands. And then when Zal steps over, you hear almost like a trumpet sound.
Wow.
But that was very weird for all of you, and even Zal hears the trumpet sound. But and then lastly, you have the guide step through because she basically opened the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And closes it behind you.
So the fanfare is kind of like, would people hear that over the plains?
You don't think it was heard outside the lands of Black Sands?
Right. But
It's
it's
like a warning signal?
alerted everything in the land of Black Sands that people have entered. Or did we just hear it ourselves?
That question.
No one else heard it when they crossed, but everyone heard it when you crossed.
Yeah.
Oh!
I wonder if you've got your father's skull with you still?
Is this a case of we're special, everything is good, or we're special, things are gonna suck?
You don't know.
We don't know. And see, the thing is, I'm wondering if Zal, did you bring your father's skull or did you leave that behind?
No, I brought
I
that
think-
and my mother as well.
Aha! Because if your father's been there before, maybe
that's why.
maybe you're returning them and they're not going to leave.
That could be bad.
No. They're
Could be.
skulls. They're spirits.
Yeah, but she's got her spirits with her, so if they leave...
And this is the spirit thing.
I get the connection, but Zal's been trying to communicate with her father,
Well,
so
maybe they're
losing
meant to
that may
leave here.
not be a good thing for her.
Well,
And
We'll see.
when your
It's a
guide
really
steps
good point,
through,
'cause I
you
didn't
see
think
the
of it.
area around you start to shimmer with a slight green glow that goes out probably about 20 feet from her.
wow, okay.
And she says, while we're traveling, you're not to step beyond that line.
Okay, so, yep, understood.
I follow closely behind this spiritual girl without tripping her up.
And she then turns to Camdu and gestures for Camdu to lead on.
Okay.
Because it's not her quest.
Yeah.
She opens the door.
Okay, so...
She can advise, but she cannot lead.
Okay, so can you advise... Zal, you told us that the path would be windy, didn't you?
She might be with baby.
I probably would have privately shown you the map
Okay.
that my father
Great.
projected.
Okay.
So you would have known that I'm bringing Kim before we got here,
Yeah, yeah.
and that he showed me this map because I asked him about it.
Yeah.
And you know about my golden arrow as well, and that they're both my parents are housed in these items.
Yep. Okay, well that's
and I probably
good.
would have asked you as well if you were comfortable with me bringing them in the first
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah. So to hear the fanfare was interesting. Don't know what that means yet. But yeah, I would have, privately shown you the map so you have some idea of where we're supposed to be going.
Yeah, well that's good, because then if I'm leading, good.
As you go to turn around, you do notice that Zal's father's skull is lit up.
Wow.
Like, lit up in what way? Can you tell? Is it colour?
Eyes are glowing. That the skull itself is putting out complementing light to what's going out. What your guide is putting out.
Okay, so like a protection as well.
So
I don't know.
It just occurred to me, your uncle did this journey before us and then became the Great Khan. There is a possibility that a part of you giving this honorific is that you might come back to replace him. It's just a thought. If that's what he did, maybe this is a...
Well, that, we'll see.
It is one of the
It's just
reasons
an
he
interesting
sends
thought.
his descendants
Yeah,
on the
I
quest
know.
once a year.
I knew that.
Is that
I
something
just
you
wasn't
would
gonna-
welcome?
The responsibility is more than any of the family want.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be good news to you.
No.
Would you-
She would
an
never be
honour,
able to leave the clans
I
again.
couldn't leave again.
He wouldn't do that to her then, probably. So.
But you don't know that. He's trying to find a leader that can replace him.
So
Because-
he doesn't care whether you want it or
I've
not. He just wants to
gone-
know if you're okay to do it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, for him to lead and fall, the entire clans would fall.
Yeah, so
if there's
so
no one to
there
step
needs
up
to
and
be a
do it.
backup.
So that it's like, I mean, he could lead for another 50 years. You
Yeah.
don't know.
But the case is, if he's found a suitable
Backup.
person to back him up, it doesn't matter whether it's something you want or not. It's whether or not you can fulfill the needs of the
Yeah,
people.
and the thing
guide
is,
them
if
safely.
he lasts another 20, 30 years,
Yeah.
I can do whatever I want
Yeah.
until that happens.
In which case, we're going for a party, a 30-year-long party.
Because his sole purpose in life that he's told Cam do is to ensure the people survive.
Yeah.
He doesn't care how they survive as long as they survive.
Yeah, that seems very practical in the environment that they're in.
Yeah.
And he's done a lot of questionable things to make that happen.
I noticed Zal's dad's skull glowing, and because I do not know much about Zal or Zal's dad, I ask her about it. If she's there.
Yeah, so normally, because he's a driftlord, normally it's a command to make him light up. He's now lit up uncommanded, so this is new territory for me as well.
What? Okay, that sounds really good.
What does Zal wish to do?
Yeah.
I'd probably get him out of like the little sling that's is on my belt. And is he like projecting anything onto the ground, or is he just generally giving accompanying light? Or
Well, he seems to be giving accompanying light. Do you float him in the air like it normally does?
Yes.
Okay. As you release him, you see him rise up to your height, which he's never done. And what appears to be a spiritual form of him form up around him.
Wow, he's there to protect you.
Wow.
Awesome.
And
That would be...
I
Yeah.
say
That is
hello to my dad, probably for the first time since I was very, very young.
he greets you, calling you by your pet name as a child, and gives you a hug.
So he says something different.
This is amazing. Zal probably starts crying.
At which point you'll also notice a golden glow.
I quickly get the golden arrow out of its pocket.
And when you let go of the arrow, you see it form up into this, your spiritual mother at the same time. Who also greets you and hugs you.
I probably should break down crying because, this is the first time I've seen them properly since I was like, I don't know, I don't even remember how old it was when they got murdered.
And they look the same as they did when before they died.
Wow.
And they quietly give you words of encouragement and tell you they're here to help you.
Awesome.
Which they're permitted to do once a year.
Oh, wow.
But only in these lands.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
They can be your guardians against the spirit world.
Nice.
But you can only they can only help you 3 times in your life this way.
Okay. And only in these lands?
And only in these lands. Because this is their spiritual homeland.
Wow, okay.
The land of Black Sands and the World Mountain is where all the spirits of the family go.
Oh, okay, right.
So you're basically traveling to the equivalent of the underworld for most cultures.
Right, yeah.
And nearly every seeker has with them spiritual guardians.
But I'm not the seeker in this instance, so...
But you are providing the spiritual guardians.
Sorry?
You are providing the spiritual guardians in this case.
True, yes. True, that is very true. I guess I introduced the group to my mum and dad.
I bow and pay my respects because they are obviously people. I may not understand that they're her parents, but by her emotional reaction, she obviously thinks highly of them.
And you do recognise Zal in them.
Yeah.
And you also realise that while you can see through them, you can actually, they feel real.
Okay, so
Nice.
how would we know that?
When they would shake your hand.
Oh, did they shake hands here? Okay, because I bowed rather than shook hands, so I might not know that yet.
Though they also hug a lot.
Oh, okay. Did they hug me? I hugged them back.
But
Yeah.
from your perspective, they hug about down here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because that's where their head stops.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Well, but,
It is the weirdest feeling to be so tall amongst the leaves.
I am open to affection from any source. Yeah. Except for maybe something that might kill me by accident. Like toxins.
And they do know they do know your guardian.
Oh, okay. That's... We may have long conversations when Zal's not having long conversations. But I will defer to Zal having those conversations.
So one thing you do know is the spiritual guardian is the one who that your guardian is the one who ordered their execution.
My specific guard?
No, the guardian who's taking you in here.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, wow, really?
Mm-hmm.
So can she see
For them to be offering up their services, they does that mean that they've forgiven? Or...
They know the price of passing through the lands.
Right, okay.
And it's normally someone's ancestors are brought in. And rarely are the Khan's ancestors brought in to provide these services.
Yeah, okay.
Because they're supposed to be watching over the clans in general, not specific clansmen.
But this is very unusual circumstance that I have both of them tied to actual corporeal items.
It is very unusual, yes.
So as I'm not aware of this history, I asked Zal if she could fill in a few blanks in summary so this kind of makes sense to me. If she's willing.
I might say I can fill you in later. It's
that's
probably more important that we focus on this particular quest.
That's fine. That's good. I just thank you for even considering it.
And your father is willing to walk beside Camdu,
Nice.
while your mother walks beside you.
Nice.
Oh,
I will offer him my respects too.
So that I don't feel alone.
Well, this way you are a group walking through.
Yeah.
And it does take you 3 days to reach the mountain.
Yep.
And when you reach the mountain, you walk up about what it feels like a third of the way up. At which point your guide says that from this point onwards, it's up to Camdu.
Okay, so I walk up.
And you walk all the way up the path. It is obvious where the path is.
Yep.
Did the spirits go with her, or is it just Camdu?
Just Camdu.
Just me.
Cool.
The right of the wielder of the staff means that the spirits will let her ask her questions, potentially drive her insane with the answers.
We shall see.
Okay, so did you figure out what questions you wanted to ask?
Okay. Yes, I want to ask, will the Khan be able to unite the tribes in his lifetime? Into one glorious tribe?
Okay, so that's one question. What's the next question?
Okay.
Because you don't know the answers to the questions until after you ask all three.
Yeah. I did want to know if my friends and I would continue to travel together and continue to do good things, I guess, as we have done for the last, how long were we gone? 2 years? 3
You've been
years?
gone for quite a few years, yes.
Yeah. So would we continue?
Well, I think in total we've travelled together for probably almost 10 years, with maybe a couple of years break.
Well,
Yeah.
you're up to the because it's a year per level, so you're in your 7th year of travel.
Yeah, oh, right, yep.
I've kept it simple like that.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I think, didn't we have like a 2-year break in between a couple of levels as well?
You did, because I leveled you a little too fast at the start, so I then figured things out.
I do.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it was a
Yeah.
2-year break.
It was.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
gave them 3 levels in the first year,
Yeah.
and then gave them
So
a break.
yeah, well, Camden just wants to know if we'll continue to, travel together and learn and experience more great things.
And what was the third question?
Third question. What does my future hold?
And now the next thing is the thing that most of them don't like. What's the one thing Camdu does not want to know?
Oh,
I was waiting until after you asked all those
Harry.
questions.
What's the third question?
Third question is, what does her future hold?
What does Camdu's future hold?
yeah. So what is the one thing I don't want to know?
Because that's the price of the other answers.
Ah, when will I die?
Okay, so now you get to make a wisdom saving throw to see how well you cope with the answers. And I'm happy to give you advantage because you are doing the whole questing. You have done the cleansing. You did give up your weapons before coming in, because not everyone does.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You shitting me?
No. Some people's pride is more important than the rules.
Wow.
And the Khan has always taught you that your that your pride was important.
You said I get advantage.
Yeah,
I
I
can
did.
roll again. I rolled a 1. I can't believe it.
Do we have rerolls?
So she
I
had
just
an
did.
advantage, so that gave her the
A
bonus.
12 plus 1 is 13.
Okay.
The one time I roll a 1.
Let's
Oh
just
my
hope
God.
13's a lucky number.
Okay, so it does take about half a day for you to reach the others.
Yep.
So you are gone for half a day. You sort of come back, hair all over the place, distressed.
Right.
And I'll tell you next between sessions. Well, most likely write it out for you next session.
Okay.
So it will be your truth to tell at a point of your choosing.
When I choose to. Cool.
Because from your people's perspective, those answers are your personal
Yeah.
thing.
Power.
Yep.
Personal power.
And they belong to you. So
Yep.
when you give them up, you give up a part of yourself.
Yep. Okay. Cool.
So that will be answers your character will know about the future of the storyline.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there won't be one-word answers.
Yeah. No, they'll be quite extensive. Yeah. Cool. Okay.
And the last one will be an interesting one because
Yes.
I've seen that happen many a time. That I've written out that and it's actually happened that way.
Wow.
Just because she dies doesn't mean she can't be resurrected?
That is true.
Yes.
Sorry. But the interpretation is what is a final death.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not what is when I can come back.
Yeah.
But from the Ethengar beliefs of when you die and pass on,
Yeah.
that's
it.
I
That's
got
the-
that from your previous thing, that dying is not necessarily considered a negative thing.
Yeah.
It's considered a part of their cycle in terms of not lifespan, but spirit life,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
But Camdu will have lost 1 point of constitution,
Ooh.
having given that up for her questions.
Yeah. Okay. 1 point. So does that mean my constitution drops?
What is it now?
14.
So you'll lose 7 hit points as it drops down to 13.
Okay.
But you have gotten some truths that you would never have heard otherwise.
Yes. And 7 hit points. So down to 61.
And you now know why very few people seek this honor.
Yeah.
Because they never tell you about the what the other answer they give you is.
No.
And no question is ever told that.
Yeah.
It's basically if you must ask those questions,
Then this is
they
the cost.
they basically read you and tell you the thing you don't want to know.
Yeah, this is the cost. Yeah. So, I mean, I suppose some people would say, oh, I don't know what I don't want to know. And then they get told anyway. Yeah.
Because it's not them asking what they don't want to hear. It's the gods reading them and the spirits answering.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
And for some people, it's not what they expect.
Yeah. And that's probably what sends them crazy.
Because some people believe that they have a destiny.
Yeah. Yep.
And that they're going to be the next Khan.
I'm pretty sure Candy will be okay if she's not.
I would be quite okay if I'm not.
I was understating it.
Which is why the Khan has had a long talk with you about what it's like to be the Khan. And you realise he has that with each family member before they go.
They go in just to...
Because that way they're not going, am I going to be the next Khan?
Yeah.
It takes that one thing off their list of stuff that they want to do. Because most people who go in who aren't of his family, that's one of their questions. Will I be the Khan?
Wow.
You didn't ask that though.
No. Why would I?
That's pretty cool.
And that's why I was saying it in that way is I didn't take the choices away from you.
No.
I gave you the ability to make your own choices.
What I think is cool about that is that your character is being very true to herself in the type of questions that she asks.
Yeah.
And that kind of reinforces the type of person she is to, say, my character, in the sense that I may not know you well, but it would make a really big impression on me if I knew your questions. But of course I don't unless you ask them. But I'm talking about sort of how I would respond if I knew that.
So in that time while Camden was away, Zal's had a chance to talk with her parents for the first time in a long time and find out some of her own truths.
Cool.
from her parents' perspective, which you can ask me later what you want to know, because we are past 10 at this stage, and I am aware of how late it is.
Yeah.
So, as we won't have another game this year,
That's right. Yeah.
because
there'll
of
be
when Christmas falls.
Yeah.
Send me what you'd want to have asked your parents, and I will fill out details of what they'll tell you and a few extra things in relation to why they came.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm sure you know some of the things I'll ask.
I do. But it also means that it gets to be in the spirit of the setting, that it's between you and your parents.
Someone's very excited at the moment. Yeah,
she's wide awake, isn't she?
Oh, yeah. It's getting towards her last feed.
Yeah.
So she's telling me about it.
Yeah, she's getting quite vocal there.
And you find that because of your spiritual guardians, you have one of the nicer entrances and exits that you've heard of.
Wow.
Because most of the time the guardians don't show.
Yeah. But we had
Because
completely protected, so...
and the guardians
Not only do we have
are
one,
the
we
key.
had two as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, two what?
Two guardians.
guardians.
Besides the guide.
Yes, her mum and dad.
Yeah.
I was just writing exactly that down. All the details about her mum and dad appearing. So I
Yeah.
was so immersed in that.
All good.
Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah.
And so I'll let you go so you can tend to baby. Em?
She's more excited than anything else. I think she kind of wants to like say hi.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Hey! Hi, Mia!
I was going to ask you a quick question just after game.
Well, if you want to...
I can stay on from you.
If you stay
it won't
on,
be long. It's just one question.
I'll go to end credits, so I'll get you to mute, and then we will move over. So thanks everyone if they're watching, and we'll see you next year.
Happy New Year for
Yes!
next year!
Happy New Year, everyone!